leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Good morning once again. WCS on deck with another one. Big shout out to the supporters. As always, man, you already know what it is. Shout out to everyone that's in the building, man. Mr. Pass on deck, Peace WCS. Salute to you, bro. Salute to everyone that's gonna pull up. Hit the like button for me. I wanna first start off with Spence today. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna start off with Teofimo Lopez. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start off with Teo. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I'm going to start off with Teofimo Lopez. Now, what's the important part about Teofimo Lopez, right, is the fact that his father, who is a trainer in his camp, back in the day before Teofimo Lopez even had 14 professional fights, his dad was talking about he was going to be champion. You know what I'm saying? His dad was still keeping the same energy back then, saying, you know, my son is going to be champion. He's going to go up here and become world champion in 15 fights. People's like, huh? You know, what is this guy talking about? So back then, you know, if they always say, if you're the same person you were 30 years ago, 10 years ago, then you pretty much waste an important part of your life, right? So when this dad was saying all this stuff, people was just latching on to it. They was like, you know, nobody believes him. He's just talking. He's a big mouth and all that. But he always kept the same energy, in person or online. He always kept the same freaking energy. So when he started talking about this tournament, and then, you know, the fact that they decided to relocate to a different sanctioning body to get to the same destination, they turned out to be very smart individuals. You know what I'm saying? He was able to go in there, not be in the highest rank, defeat a tough fighter in Masahiro Shinakatani, and then he stepped in there in his 15th fight and defeated Richard Comey. Now, at the time, Richard Comey was 29-2 and considered a tough fighter. Seriously, no matter what anybody say, Richard Comey, you know, he's not what a lot of people consider him to be. He's a good guy, first of all. Richard Comey's a good guy. But, you know, when it comes down to him stepping in there with Teofimo Lopez the first time, yeah, he had those 2 losses back-to-back, which looked a little bad. You know what I'm saying? A lot bad. But it's the way he did it. Him and George Kambosos pretty much kind of had the same entry point. You know, with people questioning how good they really was based off split decisions. You know what I'm saying? The results being split decisions. Richard Comey had 2 split decisions lost. As of George Kambosos, he had 2 split decision wins. Split decisions, man, it's like right there in the middle grounds. Ghost on deck, salute to you. Draco, what's good? What's good? George Kambosos, you know, Richard Comey, you know, the split decisions, man, kind of have people frowning just a little bit. It's like in between People not gonna give you a whole lot of credit for split decisions. They're not saying you was lazy about it or you performed poorly, this, that, and the other. You just didn't do enough on that level that you're fighting at right now to at least earn the majority decision, a unanimous decision. You know what I'm saying? People find a way to scratch and claw at, giving you some criticism. But for Richard Comey, man, he went in there and he had 2 split decision losses. So people's looking at it like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He put some wins together. I think about 4 or 5 wins before he stepped in there with Teofimo Lopez. And I was there when Richard Comey won the belt, actually. You know what I'm saying? When he was in Frisco, Texas, he fought a guy named Isa Shanayev. And it wasn't anybody special that we knew. But I seen the writing on the wall, man. You know what I'm saying? I seen the writing on the wall from Teofimo, them taking pictures with him and everything. It was a good time. I was able to see that moment play out before my eyes before it actually became to fruition. So he would beat Shanayev, go on to defend it against Beltran, which was a skill set wise perfect opponent for Teofimo Lopez. Very perfect. So he looked, not Teofimo, Richard Comey. He looked very good in that fight. Richard Comey looked solid, strong. He was going to get a Beltran that was going to stay right there in front of him. And it's going to be a puncher's performance, a puncher's bout. So when he went in there with Teofimo Lopez, man, he never been stopped before, of course. And Teo wasn't like, this guy who gave you that Gervonta Davis shock value. Like when people was looking at Teo, they say, okay, he got talent and shit. Very, very much so. And he can box his ass off. And he has that power. But, they was looking at it like it's not that Gervonta Davis ammunition TNT detonate power. He went in there and destroyed Richard Comey. He destroyed him, man. He destroyed that man in the second round, got it over with just like he did Mason Menard. Mason Menard had a common opponent, but nobody big. But you know how they say, we want to grade your performance off this, that, and the other. He destroyed Mason Menard face first plant in the first round. Teo goes on. The word is out. He goes in there and fights Jackson Marine. Not Jackson Mariñez. I forgot who did Teo fight. I think he fought. He didn't have no fight in between, right? He just went from Richard Coleman to Vasyl Lomachenko. But this what it was. It almost took a year for that fight to materialize because it was during the pandemic. That's what it was. So he didn't fight nobody in the bubble like that because he's not that bubble fighter. You know what I'm saying? They trying to make something big happen with Teo. So during the pandemic, Teo was able to, come in on the backside of it on free TV and fight Vasyl Lomachenko. And I remember on this YouTube shit, boy, wasn't nobody going for Teo. Man, they was going for Lomachenko. Everybody you turn to, man, they was going for Lomachenko. Teo's not ready. He's taking a fight too early. He only has this amount of fights. He only has 15 fights. He can't get it done. Loma just too much. Yeah. All these cats was just flipping Teo like he had no skill set whatsoever. He goes in there and defeats Lomachenko. Hand Lomachenko his second loss. Lomachenko's first loss was Gary Russell Jr. and then Teofimo Lopez. When he won and beat Lomachenko, who was at the time an active pound-for-pound resident, it was big. It was big. It was a grand moment because everything his pops have been talking about materialized. He always give you that raspy voice. My son's going to be a champion. I'm telling you, they're scared. Lomachenko's scared. We're going to fuck him up. We're going to fuck Lomachenko up. I guarantee he's scared. He's scared. I sat there and listened to him and his team have conversations about that that fight and what they was doing and what they was planning on doing and everything before the news even broke. I'm talking about months before the news even broke. You know, when I found out they wasn't going the WBC route, they was going to IBF. You know, keep it close. You know what I'm saying? Keep it close to you because they in the process of trying to make everything happen. And then, you know, back then I was like, damn, you know, everybody's saying that they was going to see Devin Haney and T.O. fight, this, that, and the other. And behind the scenes, it was a different language. You know, they were saying, like, nothing's going to come out of that tournament. Nothing's going to come out of that tournament. It's a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I was educated. I said, so why would you say it's a waste of time? You know, it's a WBC, it's a coveted title and everything. They say Lomachenko. That's why. Because Lomachenko is, you know, Lopez Sr. was letting it, you know, landed on thick. He says a prima donna. Yeah, he's this, he's that. He don't want to fight nobody. You know, he sound like a mobster and shit. And come to find out that too was true. He was right. Because when people talk about this tournament, they always want to provide their summation of it and what they knew. I knew firsthand what was going on back then. You know what I'm saying? When they aborted mission, they say, man, whoever stays in that tournament's a fool. Because it's not going to happen. And they're not going to get Lomachenko. Because he, you know, they have other things going on, which he really wouldn't want to let on, but they say we're trying to get that fight. So for somebody to tell you, okay, we trying to get that fight, Lomachenko ain't fighting that person. That news never really broke like that. It was difficult for me because I wasn't really, really heavy on YouTube like that. So I didn't really care about breaking the information. You know, and plus my channel is just a small channel. The chitty chitty bang bang. Choo choo. Going up the little hill. But when I found out what the master plan was, I say, damn, that's crazy how boxing work. You know what I'm saying? The tournament is not going to materialize, but they keep on acting like it's going to. All along, they're making a fight for Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez. But I don't know who else would know that because it didn't make any sense because they was going along with business like the tournament was going down. They said, listen, he's not gonna fight anybody. He's not gonna fight whoever's in that tournament, whoever wins. So sure enough, man, when weeks pass by, you know, that shit end up being what it is, and Devin fought for a interim title. He didn't fight for the title eliminator. That's when the franchise belt came into play and all that shit. And then the news broke that Lomachenko was fighting Lopez. He goes in there and really put forth the effort in the first half of the fight. And he gets the W. The rest is history. So all along, right, when he wins that, me knowing T.O. when T.O. was just in that, you know, just normal T.O., I don't expect the person to stay the same. You know, when they reach superstardom like Teofimo Lopez, I don't expect them to be the same. And then I had the time to share with him while he was in a more carefree state without the fame. When the fame came and YouTube and people see, you know, how much content you had on somebody, or, you know, how many pictures you got with them, whatever, people start to hate. Seriously. People start to hate, tell people shit. You know what I'm saying? They want to be close to a team. They say, oh, why is that person? They don't go to a damn fight. But they want to know, oh, how they get that? How they get this? How did they get that over there? How did they get that footage? Look, when y'all wasn't working, I was. That's all I got to say. When they wasn't working, I was. That's how I was able to get all this footage with certain people that now these people are trying to come and do something when they should have been working before the fame. You know what I'm saying? You could have been there before the fame. You know, so people get acclimate to YouTube, and then they start reaching out to people. Oh, can I get an interview? Oh, and then get all nice with them. And then their whole process is, oh, well, WCS over there. Let me tell you about this. It's too late. I already covered him when he wasn't a champion, man. You know what I'm saying? I talked to him when he was a champion. But when he became champion, I was just watching it was playing out. Because I was on my way leaving LA from the Wilder Fury presser. So I was heading down to the Teofimo Lopez fight. That's when a individual from Triller, a contact that I had, me and him talk all the time, that he told me that the fight was off. He wasn't fighting down there. And then, we had a conversation about certain things that was taking place with Floyd Mayweather. Just the company thought it wasn't a good idea. So I said, cool. I didn't think none of it. And then the next appointment, boom, it falls out. So he had a rough ride, y'all. Teofimo had a rough ride trying to defend those belts for the first time. He finally did. He had a health issue or whatever. And he didn't come out on top. For anybody and everybody who cover the sport of boxing, that is not an excuse. That's a fact. That's reality. We're human. We have different type of viruses and diseases that our white blood cells cannot handle. You know what I'm saying? We have certain situations that will impair us from being 100%. So he lost. He lost his titles. But I always said, I always told people, this guy's going to go to 140, and he's going to be a champion too. No, there's no way he's done. T.O.'s done. Look, he couldn't beat Kambosos. But that's not the T.O. that I know to be like. He's fighting below his standard. You know what I'm saying? He's a talented fighter. He believes in himself. If someone else wants to disapprove the percentage of his belief or the value of his belief, in the boxing ring, that's where you handle that at. That's anybody. If you outside the ropes and you a non-participant, it really don't matter what you're saying. You just provide an opinion just like me. Real talk. So when he decided to say, okay, I'm moving up to 140, I was glad because I've been there when he was shaking out late. When he was showing up to the weigh-ins late. You know what I'm saying? He was still cutting. Just like what happened with Shakur Stevenson. He was having a hard time cutting weight. And this was years ago. So for them to hang around too long and overextend their stay at 135 pounds, he paid the price. Along with a sickness. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he didn't make the weight. He made the weight. But I'm just saying he had a health issue and he was struggling. And George Kambosos was the better man on that night. Now, of course, moving up to 140, you're talking about a guy who had his first loss. You know what I'm saying? The guy who had his first loss against somebody not the name Lomachenko. Not only that, he picked up sponsors prior to his fight. So he's picking up big sponsors and shit, Bud Light, his IG's being reconstructed, revised. They're basically, making that shit boxing related only. You know what I'm saying? They insert new members of the team. I seen all this shit play out with T.O. So when he was on his way to 140, it was a whole lot of rumor mill. He was gonna get the shot with Josh Taylor. That didn't happen. He was going to fight this person and that person. So he goes up there and, he finally gets his shot with Pedro Campo at 140. And, the people were saying what they want to say. He's a nobody. He's a bowl of ragu. He's a soft. Okay, of course he is. He's coming off a freaking respiratory issue. He's moving up in weight. Take the Pedro Campo. He went in there and stopped a man in 7 rounds out of a 10-round fight. He did what he was supposed to do. Shout out to D-Ray Promotions, Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Toby Barnett, what's good? Barlett, what's good with your big blunts and boxing on deck? Salute to you. Mr. Paz, what's good, fam? How you feeling? All good. Buns, hope you truly. I heard Loma fighting on the same day as Crawford. Um, I wonder how many views Crawford card would get now because most will watch Top Rank. Mr. Pass, what are you saying exactly? You said Loma is fighting on the same day as Crawford. How? He just finished fighting Jermaine Ortiz. Did you make a mistake, bro? You talking about Tio? You talking about Tio? You can't be talking about Crawford. I mean, you can't be talking about Lomachenko. Lomachenko is not about to step back in just over a month and fight. I'm just going to take it you meant Teofimo Lopez, right? Cooking with Surf Senior, salute to you, brother. We have to be honest about what are our abilities and limitations. I did not. It's all good, man. It's all good. One thing over here, if I make a mistake, I'm going to let it be known I made a mistake. It's all good. You make a mistake, it is what it is. That's what humans do. So when I seen this whole situation play out with him with 140 taking the Pedro Campa fight, I felt it was logical. You know what I'm saying? Smart decision. Go out there and get the victory and get your feet wet at the 140-pound division. Now, when it come down to Jose Pedraza, right? People saying that he's somewhat like a gatekeeper and all that. But you have to understand one thing. Jose Pedraza, you cannot continue to get him confused with Jorge Linares. I don't know what's going on here, but people still think from back in 2017 that he's still loopy from Gervonta Davis knocking him out in the 7th round. Listen to me, man. This guy's still a quality opponent. He's been in there with some big names. He's not a bum. You know what I'm saying? But just like a lot of fighters who step in there with big names, he's one of those guys who's been in there with big names and does not come up victorious a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? He has a lot of names on his freaking resume. But when it comes for him to step up and get it in, it is what it is. You know, he had to draw with Richard Comey in a 10-round fight back in August of this year. And he's due to step back in the ring December. I think with that quick turnaround, that's what people's talking about. You know, they're kind of looking at it like, what's going on here? He just had this situation with Richard Comey. You know what I'm saying? He went life and limb with Richard Comey, a guy who Teofimo Lopez stopped in 2 rounds. So kind of people trying to dog him out a little bit, saying this is a waste of time. He's a gatekeeper. They just put him in there as a body. He's a body for Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? But the only person to stop him was Gervonta Davis. I still feel like the sniper, the Puerto Rican sniper, he has a little bit more to offer. He does. I believe he has a little bit more to offer. And it's been since 2017 since Gervonta stopped him. So I'm curious to know if we're going to have a Mason Menard replay or a Richard Comey replay. What I mean by that is like common opponents. You know what I'm saying? Common opponents where a fighter gets a hold of them and they may do it in better fashion or stop them in earlier rounds or whatever the case. I'm curious to see. Because that's what people are going to be looking for, real talk. They're gonna be looking to see if Teofimo Lopez can stop this man the 7th round or earlier. I don't know, bro. I like Teofimo Lopez's power. He is a showman. He is a prize fighter. He's back on the scene like I told y'all. And this fight is going to be very interesting. I'm going for Teofimo Lopez, of course. You know what I'm saying? 17-1. Former undisputed lightweight. You know what I'm saying? People may not recognize it as such right now, but they will in the future. when finally Mauricio get his shit together, and if he chooses to keep the franchise belts around, he will. You know what I'm saying? He'll keep it around. Real talk. I told people the lightweight division had the most franchise champions of any division. You know what I'm saying? Of any divisions, dog. They have had 4 franchise champions, y'all. That shit is crazy, right? Lomachenko, y'all. Teofimo Lopez, George Cambozo, and freaking Devin Haney. It's sick. 4 franchise champions. No matter what they say, they always franchise champions, bro. Except at the end of that rainbow, Devin Haney picked up all the belts, to include the franchise. But they had a franchise belt, so they can't deny it. They have it. But shout out to Team Lopez, man. It was a grand time being able to cover him before he was a champion with his team and all that. Any media person that don't want to be attached to a team, that's the best fun you can ever have as a content creator, because you get to cover somebody that's rising up through the sport. You get to see the ups and downs. You get to see you get to hear the private conversations. You just get to wind down and see what the plan when people talk and see what the plan. It's the most beautiful thing ever when it comes to covering the sport of boxing. It's the most beautiful thing ever. When you talk about YouTube, YouTube is not where the dynamics at. You know what I'm saying? Like, people come in here and drop content, but the physical presence is what makes it all real. You know what I'm saying? When it brings out the true beauty of covering the sport and creating content. That's the real beauty, in my opinion. I'm just saying, it's not like I'm saying just abort mission and go from online to the front line. I'm just saying when you're having the opportunity to cover a fighter exclusively, it's a freaking privilege to do so. You learn a lot, not just from that fighter's team, but you learn a lot from other people that's around that you see talking to that fight and the conversations they be having about this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just gets a bit informative. So shout out to T.O., man. Looking forward to that fight. I'll be at home. I'll be here watching it. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence situation. This turns more and more into spaghetti as we listen to it. Let me see what's going on, Leo. Yeah, the 10 is a good start. So let's talk about the Errol Spence situation. So per the audio that was leaked, right? You know, he kind of mentioned in there, a lot of people's going around here saying the authenticity couldn't be validated. It wasn't real. You know, it was just another way to scrutinize Spence in the darkest light possible, which I didn't see it like that. I just felt like whoever leaked the audio, they should be to blame. So if audio leaked and we heard Spence on there talking about he didn't want to fight Thurman, he told Al that he ain't fighting Thurman. You know what I'm saying? He was just saying everything that we already know, because he's made it perfectly clear that he has this somewhat grudge on Keith Thurman. Now I find the grudge to be a bit diva in a sense. You know what I'm saying? As you dress it up like that. I mean, it's real diva, prima donna type shit. Because Keith Thurman never really did anything to you for a brother to get mad, like for a fighter to get mad like that. He just didn't show you any mind. It could have been anything. He could have said, I don't want to go in there and fight a tough fighter like Spence, you know, because I'm not 100%. You know, something might be going on with my freaking, because he had multiple damn injuries, you know, that he was nursing and stuff like that. So he might have felt like he wasn't going to be 100% for a long time. So he couldn't sit up here and confirm the fight Spence. Plus they was under the same promotional banner, so it wasn't like it was something that needed to be expedited. You know what I'm saying? We need to get this shit right away. You understand his plan when He thought about it, saying, yeah, I can fight Thurman and pick up 2 belts, this, that, and the other. Thurman like, shit, I worked to get these 2 belts, and you need to continue to do some work. And plus, I'm not 100% healthy. But it seems like Spence has always held that over his head, just like the Charlos do Andrade. They always want to hold it over their head for motherfucking damn 20 decades, dog. Like, shit. Motherfucker just keep on talking about what Thurman didn't give him. He ain't fighting. But you have to understand, Thurman was welterweight unified champion before you were, Spence. He was unified before you were. So when it comes to the mutual respect in boxing, man, it's a bit fragmented at the end of the day. Because people try to look at you like, yeah, I seen what you did, but what have you done for me lately? Or what have you done for the sport lately? So if this news of Errol Spence fighting Keith Thurman next and all this bullshit about it potentially being in December, good luck with that. Because look, once again, if this fight is going down in December, that means people on his side knew this shit was going to take place in December already. They just didn't know this shit a couple of weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? It's just like somebody having a conversation with me, and they was talking about, well, Crawford, he had to lock on the venue. He had to make all the arrangements and all that. Listen, these states, they have sporting events arranged, and they have schedules assigned for certain events. So you can look at it however you feel like. Like, it takes time for people to lock on these venues. So if he's going to be fighting and the opponent is going to be this guy in December, well, imagine that shit. Imagine that. How the January date looks now. Because it just seems like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence was never scheduled to fight in December. But if the news is what it is, now it's coming out that Errol Spence may be fighting Keith Thurman. What do y'all think about that shit? Andrew on deck, salute to you. What do y'all think about that? I'm just real curious to know if that is indeed the case, that all of a sudden this fight may have some validity to it or not. You know what I'm saying? It's so much fake news is coming out right now. And then the people that goes up here and report on it, after seeing it on the mainstream media, then, you know, people may look at it as like it has some momentum behind it. You know what I'm saying? Boxing News 24 has already reported that Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman on December 17th. So the article reads, you know, Keith one-time Thurman will reportedly be challenging Errol Spence for the IBF, WBA, and WBC welterweight titles on December 17th at AT&T Stadium. So that means this was locked on already. This has been locked on. And when you get into the damn magical part, the hocus pocus of boxing, you have to think to yourself, they had the AT&T Stadium locked on for December already. No date ever came into the conversation when we was up here on anything, any type of panel, anything in the YTC. I don't care if somebody jump on here and say, yeah, I try to tell y'all it's going to be originally in December. I try to tell y'all. We heard August, we heard October, we heard November. We never heard anything about December AT&T because Terrence Crawford made it perfectly clear that he wasn't going to fight in Texas. It wasn't going to happen. We never heard of another fight card that was going to be taking place at AT&T in December. What I'm trying to tell people when it comes to these promotions scheduling out their entire calendar, they don't wait till the last fucking minute to schedule that shit out. Some of those dates are forecasted dates, and they tried to pin in and try to plan and create fight cards off of that. That's what they do. As long as they have a venue on, then that's a big part of the planning process. They lock on the venue, and then they can take it from there. They just don't wait till the last minute to lock on venues. So we know the Terrence, the Crawford Spence wasn't happening in December, so the venue was already locked on. But hearing Spence Thurman though, hearing the audio, hearing Spence Thurman taking place at AT&T, Spence Thurman. It just seems like this fight has already been pinned. It was already paperclip on the block schedule to me. AT&T was locked on. This was quiet as kept. Of course, people are going to come up here. No, it wasn't quiet as kept. See, that's what he need to do. He need to get off behind. He need to go out there and do this, have more people talk to him. He'll know. This was quiet as kept. Wasn't nobody talking about a PBC fight card coming in December. You know what I'm saying? Especially with a Thurman Spence. We wasn't talking about that. This has been such a whirlwind, y'all. Think about it. This has been such a whirlwind. You know what I'm saying? The back and forth debacle of trying to find out which news is relevant and which is not. We're getting a Spence Thurman fight in December, and really it was no mention of a fight actually taking place from the PBC in December. But they might have locked on a date because that's what they do. They're planners. They're decision makers, controlling authority, shakers, movers, whatever you want to call them. They're locked on this stadium. And now, looking at the top rank card come out, which nobody's not competing with that card. Nobody. Even with the Teofimo Lopez fighting who he fighting in the main event, there's no cards going to fuck with that card in December. There's no way in hell. You know what I'm saying? You have Teofimo Lopez, Keyshawn Davis, Jared Anderson, Bruce Carrington, Jihad Tucker, Xander Zayas. Man, stop it. Stop it, dog. It goes on to say Spence Thurman is much better fight on paper than Terrence Crawford's December 10th fight against David Abanesian. Unlike Abanesian, Thurman has world championship credentials and he's proven. Thurman should make it compelling, build interest in the Spence fight with his interviews and trash talking. One time, most single-handedly marketed his fight with Manny Pacquiao in 2019. Former WBA and WBC 147-pound champion Thurman, 30-1, 22 knockouts, is Spence WBC mandatory after defeating Mario Barrios earlier this year by a lopsided 12-round unanimous decision. See, I was waiting on this writer to pretty much criticize how in the fuck Keith Thurman is going to be a mandatory after defeat Mario Barrios, a fighter who came up from 140 to take this fight. You know what I'm saying? What did he have to offer? What did Thurman gain off that fight? Well, he obviously had some good graces of the puppet masters that's over this freaking ranking system to massage him into that mandatory position. Real talk. He should deserve criticism for that shit because that's some hocus pocus puppet master type shit, boy. For real. Spence vs. Thurman is expected to be announced this week, December 17th. This week on December 17th. It's obviously be on pay-per-view, of course. Likely on Fox. The other options Spence had for this December fight were against Jerome Bruce Ennis and Stantionis. Thurman is a far more marketable fighter than those two. It looks like the target date is Dallas, Texas at AT&T Stadium. It looks like December 17th will be the date for Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman fight. The fight will be announced this week. Keith Thurman will be 34 by the time the fight comes to fruition. He turned 34 on November 23rd. That was the biggest fight at the time for a welterweight division. Mario Barrios jumped up from 140 to 47 to face Keith Thurman at 147 in Keith Thurman's comeback fight. Keith Thurman looked vulnerable in the fight, but won a 12-round unanimous decision. But nonetheless, the WBC made the fight a WBC title eliminator. See, that's another page in this murder mystery. How they continue to kill boxing, because they made that shit into a title eliminator, and it pretty much put Mario Barrios in a situation to kind of pull off something that you rarely see. But he knew his place. He knew his position. He knew he wasn't going to go in there and beat Keith Thurman. He might have gave it a valiant effort, but he wasn't going to split the ropes that night and go in there and think, yeah, this is my opportunity to become champion at welterweight. Stop it. That's how Keith Thurman became the mandatory for Errol Spence WBC title. It's crazy, man. That's real crazy right there. I guess it's a little bit of royalty in there. You know what I'm saying? Concierge, freaking VIP service given to Keith Thurman, because his only loss is against Pacquiao. He had a long layoff. Not to forget that. I mean, Keith Thurman is a promoter. You know what I'm saying? He's a mouthpiece. Should I say not a promoter? He's a marketer. You know, he can market himself very, very well as a prize fighter. Years ago, Errol Spence wanted to unify the titles against Keith Thurman, as they are both the PBC and they are both on Showtime and Fox, so it would make easy. But Keith Thurman somewhat gave Spence the runaround. Thurman wanted to let the fight marinate. He thought it was his Floyd Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao fight. Thurman went into the 2-year hiatus where he stripped of the WBC title due to inactivity. So, if we're talking about what had been, you know, what we've been listening to all this time, hearing how he even maneuvered himself into that mandatory slot, it really fizzles the news being broke, because you saying to yourself, okay, I don't mind seeing Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. It's just the way they did it. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way they did it. They brought Keith Thurman into that. Nobody's really been talking about Keith Thurman. They've been talking about Virgil Ortiz and Jerome Bucenis. That's who they've been talking about. So they don't want that IBF smoke. They stand far away from that IBF smoke. You know, shit too high. You know what I'm saying? They already suffering 3rd-degree burns from even thinking about that fight. So, you know, the powers that be come up with a plan, finagle and massage Keith Thurman into the rankings of the WBC based off of Mario Barrios, a former secondary WBA champion at 140 pounds. So for anybody and everybody who listen, understand how this shit works. It is highly possible for people to put the pawns where they need to be. It happens all the fucking time. So, you know, people hearing this news right here, yeah, we get to see if it goes down. We get to see two fighters that haven't fought against each other in the division outside of Crawford Spence. We get to see the infamous Spence Thurman. We don't know what type of condition Thurman's in. He looked a little shaky against Josecito Lopez. You know what I'm saying? He looked shaky against Manny Pacquiao. And he looked a little bit shaky against Mario Barrios. We don't know. But then on the flip side of that, Spence looked a little shaky against Yordenis Ugas. You know what I'm saying? But I can see it already in this month. I can see it all. Look, I can hear it already. You know where I'm going with this when it comes to Spence Thurman. Y'all already know. Where you think I'm about to go with this? When the names Spence and Thurman comes up, where do you think I'm going with this when it comes to the conversations on YTC? Where do you think I'm going with it? Let me know where you think I'm going with this. I'll tell you, okay? People are going to be like, but WCS, you should think about the punch volume of Errol Spence, man. He loves going to the body, and we know our past fights, man. Thurman has had such a difficult time handling, those body shots, man. I don't see it going the distance, man. Spence is gonna stop him. they gotta start coming up with this. Spence go to the body, man. His attack is just too lethal. It's gonna be detrimental to Keith Thurman, man. I'm telling you, he's not gonna last that long. He hate body shots. They take that off a couple of fights. Real talk. It's just something weird about how they take fighters being hurt to the body. They would use that forever and a day. Just like, the shot that the Gamboa landed on Crawford. They still love talking about that shit. It wasn't a shot he took to the chin or the jawline, chin strap. They talk about a shot he received to the body, and, he felt a certain kind of way. But with Errol Spence, having his fans enamored by his volume, his punch volume, now it comes to Keith Thurman, the fighter who has a con in the pro and cons. He has a con about his skill set and his conditioning, that when it comes down to his armor, so to speak, that midsection isn't what it is. It's like it's a little doughy. You know what I'm saying? It's a little doughy up in there. You know what I'm saying? He's a little soft. He don't like them body shots, and we know Spence loved going to the body. So that's gonna be a topic of discussion the entire month of November, bro. People are gonna be up here talking about, man, it ain't. I can't see it going the distance, man. I'm telling you. But they're not gonna look at it like how many people has taken advantage of Keith Thurman. This infamous body attack where he was hurt. How many people has taken advantage of that? You have to ask yourself, how many people has taken advantage? How many elite fighters have taken advantage of Keith Thurman, who only has one freaking loss back in 2019 in a split decision against Manny Pacquiao? So if you want to look at the Danny Garcia fight, if you want to look at the Josecito Lopez, even though he hurt Thurman a different way, you have to understand that Keith Thurman has one loss, man. Through all the criticism and everything, 30 victories, 1 defeat, 22 knockouts, the man has one loss. But we the only question, really the boxing fans are looking at, like, is he one time, sometime, or no time? That's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to find out, is he one time? Has one time returned? Thurman name has been floated out there for a while now, so I can't say I'm surprised. His name, Andrew, may have been floating out there for many reasons. You know what I'm saying? His name has been out there like particles in the air. You know what I'm saying? They love throwing Thurman's name. Even when they was having that freaking back and forth exchange, Devin Haney, Gary Russell Jr., all of a sudden Keith Thurman name came in. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like Keith Thurman is the Kilroy of boxing, y'all. If y'all don't know what Kilroy is, back in the day in combat, they used to go around to all these places where, soldiers would hide out and they're hunker down, so to speak, get embedded so they can get outside the jungles or whatever. And it was always this damn writing on wherever they was at called Kilroy. Kilroy was here. Kilroy was here. No one never knew who Kilroy was. They just knew he was actually a person they never met. But his name will always come into existence because these little places that seem isolated, his name will be up there. Kilroy was here. Thurman is like that. Thurman name had came up doing that, with Crawford. Thurman name always comes up out of nowhere. It's Thurman fighting Jerron Ennis. It's Thurman fighting this person, that person. But we know what we do know now. They finally gonna fight. Errol Spence is finally gonna get it in with Keith Thurman, bro. Espinosa said publicly that they had no fight date scheduled for December. You remember that? You know that? Understand that? But I'm just saying, like, people reporting news, the hocus pocus of boxing. And I'm telling you that the only dates that came up for Spence and Crawford was August, October, November. But I can't sit up here and call Espinosa a lie, because people want to sit up here and believe his every word. You know what I'm saying? They want to believe his every word on what he has to say about stuff. So I just play the pause, man. I play the position, and I just sit back and listen. Because, he came back, Steven Espinosa was the one that came out and said that, hey, the fight date for November still ain't dead yet. And that shit was deader than a motherfucker. What's going on, Unbiased Boxing? Salute to you. I think it'll be Spence versus Stanthionis. Stanthionis took step-aside money because he was supposed to fight Ugas for the belt. Stanthionis ain't taking step-aside money again. Him and Errol both fought 416. See, the Stanthionis situation, right? The hocus pocus of boxing. I hate to keep on reminding people how much trickery goes into those individuals that love brain fucking some of these damn media outlets. Did you remember only several weeks ago that people were saying that Stanthionis was going to be the opponent for Errol Spence Jr.? Do you remember that? Stanthionis, he took step-aside money just like you just said. And people saying that Stanthionis wasn't going to take step-aside money again. I even heard from the OG that Stanthionis will more than likely be the opponent for Errol Spence. Then all of a sudden, you get this new information that Keith Thurman, who is the mandatory, he's going to be the one stepping there with Errol Spence. This is what I don't like about boxing, because in mixed martial arts, the news come out. It is what it is. They don't have magicians lined up. It's not all about street magic. That's why boxing, man, as long as it's been in existence, it's very, very disappointing, man. You know what I'm saying? It requires a lot of freaking patience and composure to decompress the level of damn disappointment you go to trying to figure shit out. It's troubleshooting. You got to troubleshoot. It shouldn't be like that. You got to troubleshoot every fucking thing. And the reason why I say it don't happen in mixed martial arts, they don't fuck with the YouTube like that. The YouTube creators. The information you get is the information you get. They put it out. They want people to already know this, and this is happening. This person is fighting this person. We're going to give you the fights. This. But boxing is always like, big news, big news. Big announcement coming. Big announcement coming. Big news, big news. Can you tell me what the news is? Nah, man, I can't tell you. Hell, not secret. And then 2 days later, they'll come out with the fucking news, dog. It does no good in boxing to be the first of anything, because the first will have you playing catch up and trying to explain to your listeners why the shit isn't true. It's not good to be first when it comes to gathering information about boxing. So Stanthionis and Spence both been out the ring for the same amount of time. It makes sense. Stanthionis said 10/22. He wants to fight for the belt and is ready for Spence fight in December. Andrew Charles, Stanthionis might make for a better matchup just because he's been more active. Look, I hope it is Stanthionis for everyone that's in the chat. You know why? because I tell you, I'm always calculating what I do, right? And I really didn't want to start, changing lanes and shit, getting off topic. But Boxing News 24 at Sports. You know what I'm saying? And they say it's been confirmed that Errol Spence will be facing off against Keith Thurman, one-time Thurman. That's going to be next. It looks like a target date in December 17th, say Blue Buzz Sports TV. You see, I didn't mention that the first time I read it because I didn't really want to get the audience riled up when I know Stanthionis is out there. I didn't even read that paragraph because if he's wrong again, it's just gonna be a whole nother situation we revisit. So I want him to be right in this. I want him to be right, man. I want it to be Keith Thurman. Please be Keith Thurman and not Stanthionis. Please. Because when people quote or cite what you put out there, either you have to be right or you dead ass fucking wrong. So let's hope that he's right in this information. And it's not Stanthionis. That's all I'm saying, bro. See how that works? Y'all cannot say I'm lying. I didn't read that the first time I read that article because I didn't want people changing up the temperature. Say, oh shit, that's not what I heard. I heard it was Stanthionis. Oh my God, Blue did it. You know what I'm saying? Make for a better match just because it's been more active. Willie Cole, salute to you, Willie. Salute, my brother. Meanwhile, I ain't heard Keith say shit since August, really. Hey, man, we're going to see what it is. I hope certain people that always want to be the first to fire a pellet, you know what I'm saying, pull back the slingshot and get the information out there. I hope it's Keith Thurman. I truly do. I do. David Avenese mysteriously popped up as ranked number 4. We already know from Coach Malachi that all you got to do is put up money to get your fighter bumped up in the rankings. Anybody who's been close to boxing more than 5 years understand that the ranking system is always monetarily influenced. When I did the live on Jerron Ennis on how he went from down 15th out of the rankings, and then when he initially came into the top 15 of the welterweight division, how quickly he ascended up to slot number 5. Now, I made it perfectly clear that Jerron Ennis fought Thomas Delorme, who was coming off 2 defeats. And with that win, he was able to move up 2 more slots, or 3 more slots, based off the Thomas Delorme fight. They moved him up 2 more slots. Do your homework. 3. They moved him from number 5 all the way up to 2. Real talk. Like, how can you slide? I'm saying, how can you slide like that based off the Thomas Delorme fight? He came in off 2 losses. Once again, how does your FICO, your boxing FICO, changes off a fight like that? How does your boxing FICO changes off Thomas Delorme win, bro? And you move from 5 to 2, dog. How? How can you just skip over people that's been there before you? He skipped over some fighters that's been there before him in the ranking system. So when you hear information presented like Coach was saying, you have to hold it down as being valid. The ones who are connected monetarily, you know what I'm saying, who's with the right segue, they're gonna move through the ranking systems to where they need to be. Just like he said. Blunt say, laugh my ass off. If it's Keith, all the YouTube niggas is right. Is it the point of being right of the amount of times that you are right. Because if you're right 1 out of 5 times when you report something, that percentage, that running percentage isn't healthy. You know what I'm saying? It isn't healthy in gaining the trust of those who listen to you on a regular basis. It isn't healthy, bro. It's not healthy at all. It's just not healthy. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that this right here, I just spoke on it because it's a very interesting topic when it comes to Keith Thurman. Because Errol Spence has made it perfectly clear he's not really enthused about fighting Keith one-time Thurman. So with that said, due to the paperwork of boxing, it should be Errol Spence and Stantionis. Because like you said, and everybody else knows, he's taken step-aside money before. So it should be him next in line, man. He should be the one. He's been in the gym. He's been getting it in. He's been waiting for this moment. It should be Stantionis up next, not Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be. Why they didn't, get him frequent flyer miles over in the IBF? I'm pretty sure Team Ennis would take that Keith Thurman fight. They probably don't want it, though, because he has nothing to offer them. You know what I'm saying? They the IBF. They want that IBF hardware. Keith Thurman is a worthy opponent. He only has 1 loss, okay? He has a better resume than Jaron Ennis. But for the Ennises, guess what? They want that strap, homie. They want the strap. Point blank, period. You can look at the credentials. You can look at the badges they've earned, all of that. And it's respectable. Keith Thurman's done respectable shit as a former unified champion welterweight. But when it comes to fighters like Ennis, he's not trying to go over here and fight for a name like Thurman. He's trying to fight for a name like Spence and the hardware that he has. So that's a win-win for him. He get one of the top pound-for-pound guys in the welterweight division, and he get to contend for the championships that Spence is holding on to. That's how you contribute to your stocks as a welterweight. You get the hardware, you get the name, goddammit. And it also looks very, very good having that person on your resume on the left side in the green column. So yeah. He ain't trying to goddamn fight no Thurman. Hell no. It would have been good if these two would have fought for the eliminator. You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman and Jaron Ennis. You know what I'm saying? Fought for an eliminator or something like that. But, he's already in a damn good position anyway. And just to think, I did this live about him in the rankings being where he was, man, years ago. Like, it's been a minute. Not too far back, but I did that shit a while ago. And he's still in the garage. Ennis is still in the fucking garage, bro. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's just the way, the politics of boxing work. Wow. He said 1 out of 5 ain't good. He ain't lying. Credit score analogy was on point. Yeah, for sure, Willie. No doubt, brother. No doubt. You know what I'm saying? Bozy Ennis said he wants Keith. So Bozy Ennis had been on record saying, they want the straps. They're good for the IBF. And now they want Keith Thurman. It all has to line itself up because, them coming off a fight with Custio Clayton. He's a big welterweight. Will they even be on weight? You know what I'm saying? To take a fight. Because even with some of these big names, sometimes they get short notice. They get short notice too, man. You either able to make the weight and you feel that you're good, you've been in the gym working out, or you're not. A lot of fighters say, damn, I don't want to pass up this opportunity. I know I'm better than that person, but still I want to be in shape. I don't know. I don't think Keith Thurman want that Ennis work. But then again, I don't know what the fuck Keith Thurman wants, to be honest. I don't know what he wants. If he can't get Spence or Crawford, he wants Keith Thurman. I think he told Fight Hub. I mean, that makes more sense. He would want 2 champions. You know what I'm saying? They both is holding on to jewels. So like I said, he want that jewelry. He want the hardware. And he want the damn name. Both of those guys, for quite some time now, they was one of the only 2 individuals from the same division that was holding resident on the pound for pound list for the longest of time, man. For the longest of time, until Teofimo Lopez was on there with Vasyl Lomachenko. Now, I don't choose to mention that too much because Lomachenko effect, it shouldn't be a thing, but it is. He shouldn't have been on there. When Teofimo defeated him, they kind of looked at it like, you know what, that's Lomachenko. He was number 2. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And we're going to keep him up there. Because what they was trying to do is, listen to me now. What they was trying to do is keep them close together because they felt that they would meet again. They felt instead of freaking Lomachenko putting a rematch clause in that bitch, he turned around and said, no, I don't need no rematch clause. I'm Lomachenko. Okay, got that ass beat. Then he had to go do homework. He had to goddamn hit the road. And he had to go in there and face a Masayoshi Nakatani and a Richard Comey. Instead of just putting a rematch clause in that motherfucker. He had to go do extra work, take the business route, goddamn scoop up 2 names, and hope Teofimo Lopez was going to come out to George Kambosos' fight victorious. And it didn't happen that way. So when Kambosos won the titles, I told y'all right off the rip, day numero uno, the first minute off that, minutos, I said George Kambosos is looking for Vasyl Lomachenko. And that's who he was looking for. He wasn't looking for Haney. He wasn't looking for Davis. He wasn't looking for any one of them dudes. He was looking for Vasyl Lomachenko because he felt that was a name that he wanted to grace the square with. It'll bring more interest to the people over there in Australia. You know what I'm saying? He felt that definitely Lomachenko was a bigger name than Devin Haney. Of course. That's what damn Cambozo was doing. I told you all that from the get-go. I said he wasn't looking for no Haney. Haney ain't getting that fight. But then due to the powers that be, the war broke out. Haney ended up getting the fight. The rest is what it is, bro. I don't need a rematch clause. I'm Lomachenko. I know, man. Dude was super duper arrogant. He paid the price for it, though. He paid the price for it. But it all comes down to, you have to admit, right? We have to admit to each other that you have a lot of people up here saying that 2022 was a breakout year for boxing. I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling all the way up, down, left to right, front to back, 360. Do a double backflip, no hand layout. You know what I'm saying? That shit was not a breakout for boxing. Because just because you started off quick, right, and everybody was damn on the edge of their seat for the damn Errol Spence and your Denis Ugas fight, that just wasn't everything that it included. You know what I'm saying? You just can't take one name, one fight. I mean, 2 names, 1 fight, and say that's what we wanted to see. No. Boxing went downhill quick in 22. It went downhill quick, bro. Now, Top Rank put on some damn good cards. But when I say boxing, I'm talking about the fights that we want to see as far as the best fighting the best. That's where we have an issue. Everybody was left in limbo thinking about when this damn fight was going to be announced. Once again, fake news was put out. People felt some type of way when people like myself addressed them on the fake news. It's just too much fake news was coming out about Spence Crawford. Just too much contaminated the motherfucking airways when it came to boxing. And we all disappointed because at the end, we didn't get the fight. We didn't get nothing. We didn't get nothing, people. We didn't get nothing when it came to this fight. Nothing. We didn't get another meet and greet from these two when they had, when they ran to each other. Crawford was out in Texas forever and a day, right? Nothing. Nothing. We can't get nothing. We did see Crawford up at the Hall of Fame, though. That was good. But as far as the two fighters linking up and talking shit, what's wrong now? Y'all, what's wrong? What's wrong? What happened? It's not like it's impossible. Shit, the man was in Texas forever and a day, dog. I'm just saying, like, so much information, like the tweet that I put up that Mike Coppinger said the fight is going down in August. That was absolutely like saying I'm taking a trip to the Milky Way. I'll be back in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That shit was so far off the universe, y'all. The fights happened in August. That shit wasn't even nowhere close. And then when people saying most likely, it's looking. I gotta look at Brian Custer too. Brian Custer, you say it's looking like the fight's gonna be in November. What do you have to say to that? No, this shit wasn't gonna happen. And and I can't put no liability on Brian because he said it's looking. He really didn't give us a clear answer. He said it was looking. And then the ones on here running with the motherfucking announcement on July 4th and then turned around and did the same thing. I believe they purposely put the information out there for announcements just so people can, during that time period of waiting, they can do lives on it and get people to tune in. You know what I'm saying? They can run that charade as much as they possibly can and suck out the anxiety of their listeners. That's all that is. Deplete their energy, man. Deplete their natural energy for listening in on this damn YouTube shit. Have them on the edge. I wanted to hear anything. Oh, shit. September 4th coming up real quick, man. I can't wait. Shit. They're going to announce this fight on the day of another fight that has nothing to do with the fight we want to see. What the fuck are you talking about, man? They want to release the date on the day of another fight that has nothing to do with Spence Crawford. It really has no purpose. You can't tie it into anything, how it really assists. You know what I'm saying? How you can get the layup on this motherfucker. Nothing to that point. Nothing happened. And then we get to the point of Crawford doing what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? He goes over there and links up with David Avanesian. Kudos, man. Kudos. Jamal Neesy on deck. What's good? He said, what up, WCS? Peace to the chat. What's good with it, Jamal? I don't care who fight who, to be honest. I just want to see good boxing matches. Well, not me per se. I really don't have that mindset. I don't care who fight who. You got to care who fight who. You know what I'm saying? It has to make sense at the end of the day that if you cover the sport of boxing, you want to continue to improve. That means the level of competition. Within a division, you have a ranking system for a primary purpose. That's so those individuals that are on the ranking system can contend for one another to reach the highest point. The highest point is a championship pinnacle. That's what they're all fighting for. They're not going in there and just say, I don't care who I fight. They care who they fight. And then with the names on those ranking systems, if it gets you to the title eliminator and you get the chip, then your purse increase. You start making a little bit more money. Well, granted, we're talking about boxing, bro. right? You make a little bit more money, but you got sanctioning fees. Boxing, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love this abuse boxing gives you, dog. You gotta love it, bro. This, oh my God, this type of relationship. Who wants sanity? You don't want no sanity if you covering boxing. Come on, bro. We want the best to contend with one another. But it's so convoluted with fucking money that doesn't really, like, every now and then the boxers be in a predicament when it comes to negotiating money. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time it's what everybody else is getting and what the fighters aren't getting. You know what I'm saying? You might pick up the chip and make a little bit more money, but also you got sanctioning fees that come off the rip. So you ask yourself, how do these boxers actually win? Well, they have to win by getting paid. They have to make sure they negotiate their worth like Crawford's been doing. You have to negotiate your fucking worth, man. You can't go in here like these slavish mentalities and talking about just take what PBC give you. When you look in their driveway and they have all these expensive cars, they live in a big ass house. You know what I'm saying? They so-called have, a bank account that has a little bit of cushion to it. But yet they telling another fighter who has a profession just as they, and you telling them to go over to PBC and just take what they give you. Learn how to be the challenger. Take less money. Come on, bro. Ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit you talking. Hey, what narrative you talking about, Jamal? Be a little bit more specific. What narrative you talking about, big dog? I just really hoping Crawford's fight happen. If the fight falls through, he'll remain inactive. We don't need that, especially the people who think the Spence versus Bud fight will still happen. So if Terrence Crawford, who is pretty much on his year, right, this month, he's on his year. If he goes into the first semester of 23, it won't be any different than a lot of other fighters who's getting paid the money to be able to sit out comfortably and fight once a year. Now, of course, look, I'm not trying to be some damn campaign. I'm not trying to act like I'm in politics or anything like that. But in this day and time, you have a lot of fighters who are very inactive. You know what I'm saying? You might get one or two out of the ones that's already established. You might get the one or two. But if by chance we're talking about Crawford expiring, not splitting the ropes this year, then we have to, like, once again, get our hopes up for 2023 that it would be easier for them to make this fight next year between Spence and Crawford. Because we know we have to factor in both fighters in the last time they fought and, how the fight camp is going to be arranged because, most of these fighters want an 8-week at least. They want an 8-week fight camp. You feel me? So it has to make sense. You can't say, okay, well, Crawford, he just came out December and you take it or leave it. We want this fight February. Take it or leave it, goddammit. Take it or leave it. And Crawford's like, man, I just came out the holidays and everything. You know what I'm saying? I just came out the holidays. It's January. I wasn't in fight camp heavy like that, bro. Like, y'all didn't let me know. It's not going to happen. We got to look at around end of March, April. At least try to give 8 weeks for these dudes to get right. And then, I've seen Crawford stay in the gym. I don't know what Spence doing over there in Texas Alcatraz, but I know Crawford stays in the gym and keep in shape. Like, that's what I respect. When he come to other people's footprint, he get in there and get some sparring in, unlike some people. Shout out to Shaw News, the Sauce Experience, a.k.a. Showtime. Shaw, salute WCS, real frontline. Boxing media, smash the like buttons. No doubt, man. Shout out to Shaw News on deck, man. The UGK, Team Tucker in the building. I would love to know what system or blueprint the PBC is following. That's a lot of us, right, Jamal? We definitely want to know what blueprint they following. But when you get to this point, Jamal, I'm gonna be honest with you. What do people use blueprints for? Like if you're down here, you're an investor. Let's just say down here in ATL, and they building up all these damn structures, these apartment or condo structures, and a lot of them look alike. They have a blueprint to that shit because most of them are going to be somewhat similar in how they want them motherfuckers built, just a different location. But with boxing, it's not a blueprint when it comes to every boxer, because every boxer is not going to be ranked the same. Every boxer has different level of experience. Every boxer's record is different. You know, depending on who they are, how long they've been in sport, different ages, different type of damn credentials that they going off of, as far as, you know, they came over here at this time and they've been a professional for this long, who they fought on their resume. So they can't really use the same blueprint, so to speak, in negotiating fighters, because it's proven that you can have the 3 divisions formerly undisputed, but people look at that shit like, that don't mean anything. And then you take a fighter that's in a single division and has 3 titles, still below the number of the fight in Crawford that he's trying to get, but they trying to make it seem like it's not enough. So it can't be a blueprint. It has to be one of those on the fly, off the cuff type of deal. Like for the business aspect, the paperwork, yeah, that's templates. Real talk, that's templates. We know how contract shit work. That's templates. We already know. That's template. We already know what the contract templates are and all that. But negotiation process, though, is wicked. It's wicked. Because we just seen that in the last several months play out. How Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Yadinas Ugas can go through negotiations and get damn near fed real good. But all of a sudden, Crawford comes into it. Food on aisle 9. Stock on aisle 8. Stock on aisle 7. Matter of fact, close down the store. We have no stock available. No stock available. Everything is out. Every row. You know what I'm saying? Nothing to eat. Hey, do y'all have any steak on it? No, we out of that. What about some salmon? No, we out of that. Do you have any fish, period? No, we out of that. Shit. Do you have some motherfucking spring rolls then? Yeah. How many comes with that order right there? 6. Okay, just give me 6. We don't have enough for 6. I can give you 2.5. You want 2.5? I'm telling you, bro, this shit is fucked up, dog. This shit is goddamn will mind fuck the shit out of you, bro. Real talk. This shit is infectious, bro. People stay too heavy on the YouTube and they be on here all the time, and they don't even know what damage. Look, they getting social media CTE, bro. They don't even know it. They getting social media CTE, man. They don't even know, man. Protecting the undefeated streak is what these suits are trying to make a profit on. The hell with the fans want. Yeah, it's been like that forever and a day, right? Forever and a day, the fans want to be involved because they say we're the consumers. But guess what? Unless you contribute to the promotion and they can see what your contribution is, and it means something. I'm talking about the amount that you're contributing and donating. If it means something, that's the only way you're going to get some attention. And we all know that rarely happens, bro. People are not donating to anything for the well-being of the promotion. So as consumers, man, we will always be at the bottom. We will always be on the sidelines like panhandlers, thinking we're doing something important. People paying attention, going to the bank, withdrawing money, and think donating to the households is going to really raise your stock. No, consumers, that's all we are. We're consumers. The narrative I'm speaking on is that whatever EJ side say is always right. and can do no wrong. That's what EJ fans are pushing. Yeah, they always push that shit, man. I'm surprised their calf muscles and Achilles tendon haven't ripped in half, bro. Because when them motherfuckers all jump in at the same time in that wagon, they know the shit ain't stable. They all pile in on top of each other. They love taking that ride together. They know what's going to happen at the bottom of that hill. They all choose to go down that motherfucker at the same time, crash alike, get the same injuries, all that shit. And get on a private chat. Man, everyone okay? Man, maybe next time we just need to, before we go downhill on this shit and do an all for one, man, bonsai, we really need to check the information and see what the course is really like. I'm tired of these surprises, people. I'm tired of these surprises. But what are you talking about? You that's the same hill we went down last time we was talking about Spence. We knew it was that steep. But what I'm saying is, you know, we had a bigger wagon this time, okay? So I thought it was going to be a bit more stable with the suspension. I thought the suspension was going to be better. But the capacity is supposed to be only 3 people. It was like 30 of us in that motherfucker. Hey, that's what we are. We're Spence fans. We got to pile in on top of each other, get nice and warm, and then take that ride. They have to, bro. They all pushing the same shit, dog. They all pushing the same shit. Spence fans, man, are somewhat like the Little Red Riding Hoods of the YTC, for real. They know some shit a little bit funny. You know what I'm saying? They continue to ride this narrative and you know, instead of talking about Errol Spence Jr. on their thumbnails, they talk about Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford fans are this. Bud Crawford fans are that. This shit is insane, bro. This shit is insane. Real talk. This shit is fucking insane, dog. But I always give y'all this warning, right? Do not stay on YouTube to the point where you're starting to take shit too serious. Don't do that, man. I mean, take your content creation serious. You know what I'm saying? Be there for the damn listeners. Take the content creation and everything serious. There is some good fights out there. You know what I'm saying? But I will go on record again, and tell you again that the Jake Paul fight against Anderson Silva was a fixed fight. I don't think I told you that the other time, but it was a fixed fight again. It was a fixed fight, dog. Nothing new, nothing shocking. It was a fixed fight. I looked at that fight, and I always love looking at the finish. I love looking at the finish with freaking Jake Paul. And you know, him being in the later rounds, bro, it's not like this dude has turned over so much with his boxing skill sets that we're looking for him with that late round knockout power. No, it's not there. But he tapped Anderson Silva, and Anderson goes down on his ass. They couldn't pull off the Tyrone Woodley faceplant no more, so they had to go with something a bit more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? They had to go with something just a little more intense, but not too sharp, because they wanted to respect their elders. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want Anderson Silva, the legend, to go out on his face. So it's no matter how much money he put up there for Anderson Silva, and listen, my friend, I've been through so much in the cage. I'm telling you, see, over here in Brazil, we have honor. You know, we have honor. And for you to try to pay me here's and for money to faceplant, no. I have honor. I have family. I cannot. We have to figure something else out. You want me to fall back on my ass? I can do that. They had to come up with a different finisher. So this time they didn't come up with absolute finisher for the knockout, because you ain't knocking out Anderson Silva if you Jake Paul. The fight was so close, and Jake Paul was getting touched up by Silva to the point where they hit him, and the motherfucker goddamn sat down on his ass. That's a knockdown. I just wonder how long they're going to let this shit go, man. Now we're going to get Nate Diaz and freaking Jake Paul. I told y'all, when the shit went down with Tyron Woodley and Jalen Love, that shit was set up. I told y'all what happened. Tyron Woodley stepping in the goddamn ring with Jake Paul. Not only that, he gave him a second one. He went the distance with him. Look, these are content creators, y'all. Y'all can never forget that the Paul brothers are content creators. Creating content means, in this type of field of work, line of work they're in now, it's scripted. You can have scripts that's a part of it. I remember I posted that video about Jake Paul knocking out Tyron and said it was fake. Man, that shit, boy, people was jumping up. How dare you? Who are you? They was mad. I said, man, that shit's fake, bro. This nigga ain't hitting with 4-ounce gloves. You know what I'm saying? Tyron Woodley could barely get knocked out with 4-ounce gloves from elite mixed martial artists. And you're gonna come up here and Tyron gonna drop his hands and take the damn drop? Psh, please. One thing God blessed us with. He blessed us with an ability to be deceptive. Selective amnesia, we have all that shit. He tapped Anderson Silva on his forehead. Anderson went down 10-8 round. Wins in the fight. I'm just hoping that Nate Diaz, man. Nate Diaz comes in there and he trains for this fight. He has very good boxing skills, even better than Jake Paul, hands down, period. Nate Diaz is definitely the better fighter than Jake Paul, obviously. Whether it's street, where it's just, no holds barred, Nate Diaz is that guy. I don't see Jake Paul beating Nate Diaz in a real fight, period. But in this arena right here, he's getting paid very well. And I can say he may receive the orders too. I don't know how the fight's going to end. Might be a referee stoppage. But Nate Diaz is definitely not going to be the one. If he steps in there with Jake Paul, he's definitely not going to be the first fighter to hand him that L. I don't see it, bro. They have too much in store for Jake Paul to try to get that Canelo fight. And with a different finisher, I thought Anderson won. Anderson was fighting that fight real nice, but I knew, people have to understand, Jake Paul, man, they building him up. He has money behind him. That man left Triller and signed with Showtime, and look how many fights he got. He's not a so-called real boxer for people looking at it, but on the other hand, he is. Because you see guys get off the couch that they consider bombs every fucking day and get licensed. So he's considered a boxer. He's doing just like all these other fighters who get off the couch does. These motherfucking ragu. Meatballs. Tomato cans. These dudes get off the couch, pass the medicals, and go in there and fight. I see it all the time, get knocked the fuck out. It's just with Jake Paul, he has money behind him. They trying to build him up to a good 10, 12, and 0. And then they want to make it presentable to the fight fans to set up a fight with a big name, such as Canelo Alvarez. You think Canelo won't take that fight? Sure he will, because they're going to come out their ass. They're going to come out their ass for Canelo. Canelo's going to get paid the same thing to fight Jake Paul than he would in a championship fight in boxing, period. And when he fights Canelo, I would say in Canelo's defense, I say, Canelo, I hope this is not a real boxing match. I hope you fight him in an exhibition bout. Really. Because for Canelo, I say the same thing for Floyd. You don't want no Jake Paul on your record at this stage in your career, homie. Ah, no, bro. We don't want that, Canelo. You don't want no Conor McGregor on your shit. And Jake Paul is worse than Conor McGregor. At least Conor McGregor was legitimate certified mixed martial arts world champion in 2 divisions when he stepped in there against Floyd Mayweather. Jake Paul is not the champion in anything except his neighborhood. They telling us the guy who was taking shots from Julio Chavez Jr. got dropped by a shot, which was barely connected. I know, man. He got the orders, bro. He got the orders, man. I told people, man, whoever steps in there, these are content creators who going to create a script to fool the people over and over again. When I try to explain to people that Tyrone Woodley and Ben Askren both was knocked out the exact same way. No, Jake Paul's that good. Man, Jake Paul got that power, dog. Jake Paul, man. Jake Paul is the new evolution, huh? He is the evolution of boxing. They said we're moving away from tradition to evolution via the Paul brothers. They riding behind Jake Paul. At first, like I told you all before, man, at first I was feeling some type of way until I asked the fighters. Man, I asked probably like dozen fighters, bro. I said, what do you think about Jake Paul and what he's doing? Man, get his money, man. I ain't mad at him. Get that money. Shoot, he offered me a fight, I'll fight. See, when I got that mentality from the box, it's like, fuck it, man. I'm putting too much into this shit. I'm putting too much thought process into caring for a sport that's not regulated. This sport's not regulated, and the way people think is not regulated. These guys don't care. They just say, hey, man, get his money, man. No, Draco. I'll put money on that. I'll put money on that, brother. Nate Diaz is not getting... Look, do you know how many wars he's been in the MMA with 4-ounce gloves and he ain't get KO'd, dog? You think just because he come over here, that's one of the... Look, that dude has some of the best hands in combat. Even though he's known for his slap boxing, dude, he has fucked some people up with that style. Let me go back to the Michael Johnson fight in mixed martial arts in the UFC. Go back to the Leon Edwards fight. You know what I'm saying? Go back to Donald Cowboy Cerrone fight. When Nate Diaz proved to Cerrone that he was him. Cowboy Cerrone considered the many to be a more well-rounded, all-around fight. Cowboy Cerrone said at the end of the fight, man, I guess he is a bad motherfucker. Go back to who them fighters he had, man, that he fucked up, dog. Ask Conor. Ask Conor McGregor, bro. Conor McGregor landed some bombs on him in their first fight. Conor even got tired and had to change levels, go in for the double. Nope, wrong answer for a BJJ black belt under Cesar Gracie. Canelo making a good 50 to 60 million to fight Jake Paul. Absolutely, bro. I'm telling you, he gonna get paid just like he's fighting for a championship in a real boxing match against real competition. Seriously. Canelo's gonna get paid, but I just hope it's an exhibition bout, man. Please don't do that. Don't fight him at this stage in your life. And people look at your record and see Jake Paul on your record. Don't do it. This man is trying to fight people with just a name. So they're going to continue to basically inject him with opposition, with people who's getting paid pretty good, but a little bit over the hill. Ben Askren, Tyrone Woodley. Of course, Nate Robinson never should have been in the ring anyway. You know, the way he knocked that little guy out, people was actually looking at then Jake Paul as the next coming of somebody in boxing. You know, they was trying to make it seem like he was immortal because he knocked out a slam dunk champion. Make it make dollars. Fuck the cents. Make that shit. Come on, man. He's picking all the older guys. He got 2 out of Tyron Woodley. He can't get 2 out of Anderson Silva. People's just not going to buy it. People are not going to buy it. So now he's going to get Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is not going to win this fight, but he's going to get paid pretty good. But mark my word, he may get 2 out of Nate Diaz. I'm serious. Nate Diaz is a very, very good promoter. They already established beef between Diaz and Paul team. So this may build up into something like a 2 or 3 type of fight deal. Seriously, I think they're going to do no less than 2, man. I may be wrong, but Nate Diaz is the guy to make that happen. Saying he was waiting to get out of his last fight with the UFC. He did that with Tony Ferguson. He's going to come over here and get 2 out of freaking Jake, man. Seriously, I think he's going to get 2. He has a tremendous amount of scar tissue. So I know the fight is going to share some blood, man. He's going to split Nate open. You know what I'm saying? Look what I'm telling you. I'm trying to paint you a motherfucking scenario, what I know. He has a lot of scar tissue, so I'm looking at this fight. You know, they're fighting this, that, and the other, and potentially the fight might be stopped because of a cut. All right? Okay? Nate Diaz is going to lose that fight off a cut, and then he's going to come back for a second fight. Jake Paul is going to put that win on his belt. Then the second fight, he probably going to go the distance and lose. He's going to get 2 good fights out of out of Nate Diaz, bro. Everybody know Nate Diaz he bleeds. Everybody know that, bro. I'm just putting it out there. I might be all the way wrong, but that's what I'm looking at with Nate Diaz and Jake Paul. Have y'all made up y'all mind on who you think? If you think that Haney and Lomachenko gonna fight, I just don't like how Lomachenko is making up excuses. You know what I'm saying? Even though Devin Haney did look like he was a freaking welterweight in there, comparable to Lomachenko's size and stature, but I was really hoping Jermaine Ortiz mess up the apple cart for real. I really was hoping that he get the win so we can possibly get Shakur Stevenson or something like that and Devin Haney or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I think with Lomachenko, he's already coming up with a footlocker of excuses, man. He going to go back over there and speak to his BFF, Oleksandr Usyk, and he's going to try to figure it out. Because he's in for one. He's in for one. He's an older guy, and Lomachenko knows that's going to be a tough fight. You know what I'm saying? All the footwork and everything and changing angles and stuff like that. I mean, pretty much a lot of his competition has figured it out. You just have to have the cardio to be able to go in there and do it. And, Haney's proven he can do that in the Aussie double. He's proven he can do it. So Lomachenko knows that shit. And it's going to be a tough fight. Seriously. But I'm thinking the 140 division, looking forward to that. You know, Josh Taylor is talking about turning his back on biased media. Good luck, shawty. It's not like media has called you for an interview, like that anyway, man. Come on. Turning your back on biased media. I get it, bro. No, we knew Bob wasn't going to let nothing fuck up that fight with Loma and Dev. I think Dev can win. I think so, too. I think he can beat Loma. Real talk. I think he can. After coming off that Aussie double, No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. But don't be surprised if Kambosos come back in the picture and Kambosos be the one to fight Shakur Stevenson or something like that. Shakur Stevenson is not fighting Jojo Diaz next. We know that for a fact. Now, if they want to put William Cepeda in there with Shakur Stevenson, cool. Go right ahead. William Cepeda, he has the momentum coming off JoJo. Cool. William Cepeda, George Kambosos, Jeremiah Nakathila. I don't know if that fight makes any sense, being that, Shakur did cause the critics to doubt who he was with those two fights. You know what I'm saying? The Toka Conclari fight and Nakathila. People was like, oh, he's boring, he's overhyped and all that. But, dude, it's going to be just like Teofimo Lopez moving up to 40. I think Shakur Stevens is going to look super strong up at 135. And he might fight a Kambosos or William Cepeda. Real talk. Hold on for a second, people. We back. Let's see. CMD say he's not gonna hold his breath. I know, man. Who am I to sit up here and be the motherfucking judge? I'm saying to hold you contempt. Who am I to do that? You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, stop being negative. Man, this is boxing, bro. You have to always present a negative argument. It always has to. Opening, yeah. I want to hear from the prosecution. Yeah, I mean, it's always gonna be that way, man. It's always gonna be a negative argument when it comes to boxing. Because you got to be doubtful based off what we've been subjected to. What we've been exposed to over the years. Boxing always want to give us the magic show. The magic show, the magic show, the magic show. And some of the shit that's included in the magic show, just when you think the trick is over, no. It ain't over yet. it's still some more damn trickery to it too. So I ain't mad. I ain't mad. You know, I hope the fight happen. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to it, I told you what I told you. He don't have nothing else to prove at 135. He can go to 140. But they didn't make the amount of money that they wanted to make with the Aussie double. So now they come into the big money fights. I ain't mad at him for trying to get that bag and tote that bitch with him to 140. I ain't mad at them for that. Tote that bitch however you see fit. Make as much money. He made it perfectly clear. Yep, I'm just letting you know what I had to go through over there in Australia. I'm going to make sure you understand my pain. Understood? Understood? You going to feel my pain, shawty. As much as I don't talk about hip hop, man, I gotta speak on this, man, because I seen that, man, you know, so many times down here in the A. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I see these hip hop artists in passing all the time. Like I miss nothing. I see them all the time, man. I see them all the time. Real talk. But when I heard the news about Takeoff, first thing came to my mind is if you was playing a dice game, or if you was at a private gathering at a bowling alley. I'm still. Let me try to see if a new article before I get into this shit, because this is not what I do. I don't talk about that shit like that. I just want to get something straight right quick. So I want to go off the article first. You know, Takeoff. Man, we already know they took over with their style of rap, man. You know what I'm saying? Him and Quavo, they did the damn thing, bro. They was big. And I'm looking at the TMZ. TMZ has a graphic video. Them people be sending TMZ everything. TMZ, I'm telling you, they purses are for real. They be paying they people to drop them. But they say in a new video you can hear Quavo on the phone, presumably with 911 operator, and asking what does she need to do. The woman on the scene has said she was a nurse and was offering to help. It's saying emergency audio obtained by TMZ. You hear dispatchers discussing the incident, saying 5 shots was fired, and revealing the initial caller said they heard gunshots and people screaming. Takeoff, 1/3 of the Migos, is dead after early morning shooting in Houston. Law enforcement sources and multiple witnesses tell us the fatal incident went down shortly after 2:30 a.m. That's when cops got the call for a man shot at a bowling alley called 810 Billiards and Bowling in Houston. We're told Takeoff and Quavo were playing dice when an altercation broke out, and then when someone opened fire, shooting Takeoff, either in the head or near his head. He was pronounced dead at the scene. And they show the picture of Takeoff, you know, at the bowling alley that night. Quavo had posted the video several hours before as he drove around Houston with Jazz Prince, who was celebrating his birthday. We're told Jazz was not with Quavo and Takeoff when the shooting happened. Damn. Let me see what this video is talking about. They riding down the strip, bro. Damn, that's a nice whip they got too. Shit. But check this out, people. This is my question to everything. If you was at the private party and everything, and you have people around you, who was in the circle, man? Like, you still consider yourself a celebrity, so just because you having a private party don't mean there's not going to be uninvited guests. I don't know if it was an uninvited guest or someone that was in the circle, but somebody about to go to jail. Somebody about have to go see the court. They got to be video around there. Where's the video? Did the bowling alley have video out there? They have to have video. And then, if we're talking about dice games can put somebody in a position to lose their life. Real talk, if you grew up in the South, you grew up in the city or anywhere, especially CeeLo. I seen motherfuckers get stumped out over CeeLo. Real talk, bro. Like, the dice games, it can get real intense, man. I'm just asking the question, like, who was in your circle? What was the argument about? You're in Texas now. They passed a law that damn near everybody, including the motherfucking prayer mantis, you know what I'm saying? A goddamn street vulture, a stray dog, an elephant, motherfucking mongoose in Texas, a cow, a bull. Everybody can tote a weapon. Everybody. A Yorkie Terrier running around that bitch, give her 22, goddammit. So they was goddamn strapped up. I'm just curious to know what the argument was about. Did somebody slap somebody or somebody say it was cheating? Because there's always somebody at the damn dice game that accused somebody of taking money and not putting up all their money for a bet. Jeez. And then design. Oh, my God, bro. I don't know how to take this shit. It's unfortunate, man. Rest in peace, man. Takeoff. I used to see this dude all the time down in A. You know what I'm saying? Cool dude. I don't have nothing, I mean, truth be told, me and Town Biz, man, we just seen him down here in the ATL last time. Seriously, we seen him down here in the ATL, I got Town. I say, man, let's go do this, man. Let's go up here to Jadakiss. Let's go talk to Jadakiss for a second, man. Get the pick or whatever. And then we went over to what Amigos was. And I say, bro, we got to get them, man. That's a big deal. But when we went over there, the room was like motherfucking Snoop Dogg, Too Short, Wiz Khalifa, Big Blunts and Boxing. It's like all them niggas was in there smoking. I ain't gonna lie, dog. That shit was, look, this is inside the stadium, dog. This shit was, oh man, I wish I could have had my camera rolling. That shit was so cloudy and smoky in there. I was like, Jesus Christ. Damn. But yeah, he came out. He came out the room when they was about to walk, what's his name, down. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? That's fucked up, bro. I don't know what the people was arguing with. I don't know who was in his circle. Was it somebody in his circle? But they shot that man what it looked like in the head. I know people fucked up off. Man, come on. I know people fucked up off this shit, bro. In the hip hop community, period. I'm being honest. I know there's some people that's fucked up off this killing. Damn, dog. It don't matter how much money you got, man. People have to understand, when you have more states, there's open carry. You don't have to have they take away, you don't have to have a license. Everybody's carrying a weapon now. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. And they guaranteed to use it. What's going on, Max? How you feeling, bro? But that's all I got on this topic, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got on this topic. As the weeks pass by, we're gonna try to see can we get some damn definite information on what's going on with Spence next fight. It's been posted that him and Thurman's gonna be next. That's what they post now in the mainstream media. Let's see if it sticks. Seriously, let's see if it sticks, bro. Let's see if Terrence Crawford, David Avanesian sticks. Let's see. Until next time, man, y'all hold it down, man. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. Continue to support the channel. Check out the videos, man. And no, I still haven't received my apologies that I asked for last night. You feel me? So make sure y'all ask them cats, where my apologies at. I need them pronto.